Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. That doesn't look right to me. What the heck? What the heck? Okay, hold on a second. There we go. Why is it maxing out though? Okay. Anyways, let's do the disclaimer again. Derivative trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Well, today is already not going very well, is it? Okay, cool. So, let's grab some links. Okay. So what's going on? I had some news, bad political news for Donald Trump yesterday, with Cohen saying that he was instructed to pay the people, pay people that were making allegations. And I get into that a little bit later. But my general feeling is that this is being overblown. So yeah, liquidity is really low in ZN right now. That's interesting. Darwood, am I missing rollover or something? Something's not right. And of course, my chart in the 30-year is completely screwed up. There we go. Anyway, so you can see we're much higher in the E-mini. Sorry, the E-mini is down. Took a big hit and is much below yesterday, and the treasuries are all higher, and we're pushing up on the highest in the treasuries. I think that what you might see happen is a push up that exhausts itself quickly. Now I don't know what the deal is with this liquidity right here. That's just weird, man. If that's right, that's just freaking weird. Interestingly enough, Bitcoin jumped up yesterday. Or, I mean, this morning. I think you sell it. Yeah, I think this whole thing is irrational. I'll refresh that. Okay, now we got things right. All right, good deal. Bitcoin's being weird. That's weird. Okay, let's see what CNBC headlines are at this point. And let's see, let's pull things up. Okay. Okay, well, we did move down. And is it not starting my regular session? Oh yeah, it did. Okay. That's crazy that there was like nothing there and the iceberg there and everything. We are 3 ticks away, so if it can give it to me. Anyways, so I was saying with the news. So the news was that Donald Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, is pleading guilty. And one of the things that he pled guilty to was making a payment, a payment for the purpose of influencing an election, and then not reporting it. And in my opinion, this news is overblown. So he's saying that Donald Trump directed him to make the payments, and the thing that I can almost guarantee you that the Donald Trump side is going to say.
Target CEO speaking, he says consumer environment perhaps strongest he has seen.
Okay. What the Trump side is going to say is that yes, he told him to make the payment, but that's not illegal. But he did not tell him to make the payment in a way that was illegal, which is what he did.
Around the retail sector.
So they're going to say, hey.
In under 3 minutes, we get the Canadian retail sales month from June, looking for -0.2%, estimates -0.2%, and ex-auto June of -0.1%.
So he's going to say, well, I told him to pay, but I didn't tell him to pay out of a shell company, and I didn't tell him to not report it to the IRS. And I was told that it wasn't a campaign contribution. He's basically going to say that Michael Cohen lied. And the problem you get here is that sucks. But I don't think I want to sell that right there. So let's see if it comes back. Now the problem here is that when you're talking about a payment, excuse me. When we're talking about a payment like this, we're kind of in a gray zone. So many people would argue that making a payment like that is not for the purpose of influencing any election, and therefore he did nothing wrong. And I'm sure that is probably the argument that Michael Cohen made when they were making the payments or when he did what he did, regardless of whether or not he told Donald Trump that that was the manner in which he was going to do it. And yet he chose to make the plea in the way that he did. Therefore, we can conclude that Michael Cohen is going to try and cause as much damage to Donald Trump as he can. So that's a problem. But I think you're going to see that this will be very much like most Donald Trump headlines, where everybody panics and thinks it's a really big deal when it comes out, and then it kind of blows over. The question is, how long will people be following it until it does so? The E-mini took a big hit there from that.
Seconds. Month for month, minus 2%. X also minus 1%. We are seeing some here. Month on month revised up, got 2% against the prior of 2%. X also revised up 1.7% against the prior of 1.4%.
Isn't today expiration in Bitcoin? Anyways, in other news, my alarm did not work today. So my phone went off at 5 a.m. even though I didn't have an alarm set in my phone for that time. So I pick it up and I stop it and I go to sleep for another 30 minutes. And then my phone decided that it was going to do its update. So it did its update, and therefore the next alarm didn't go off. So I overslept by 30 minutes. I didn't get a chance to shower. And yeah. So I'm still eating. So if you guys have any comments, I will definitely put them in and I will talk about it. Yeah, okay, so Lucas also says that the liquidity at 22 looks wrong to him. So there must be something wrong, and I'm not the only one that's getting that liquidity, so it must be something with Rhythmic. That's weird.
XE News again. Continentals, no reason to change guidance for US business.
So now the headline that I'm reading is Cohen's lawyer says he's completely flipped and will give evidence that Trump colluded with Russia. Okay. So this is like what I was saying earlier. It seems like that Cohen wants to try and create as much damage as he can. And it may be the case that he says complete bullshit. It's hard to take that one seriously, to be honest.
Or from Continental here saying doesn't see structural change in outlook for 2019. Just next in news, going back to that Continental, and it sees no change guidance for US business. Further digging, we see that in the US accounts for around 28%.
Oh my god, come on. Michael Cohen's lawyer launched a GoFundMe to help him, quote unquote, tell the truth about Donald Trump, so he's doing the same thing that all of these guys that were hired by the FBI did to make money off of it. I'm sorry. I mean, I know that I have a biased view of this, but I don't trust the guy further than I can throw him. Which is probably pretty far, but you get the point. Like, I don't think he's a reliable person at this point.
European news from German, well, saying German government studies see thousands.
NAFTA news, US trade representative. NAFTA.
To me, the news headlines just sound a little bit too convenient. You know what I mean? That was a good solid run to the upside. I can't trade this breakout because I really can't see what's actually going on up here. Rhythmic is being dumb. Yeah, I think that the level 2 that you get from Rhythmic is I think that what they do is they say anytime that somebody adds onto it, I store it in my book, and somebody takes something off of it, I take it off of my book. And they store it. That the exchange doesn't report it. They have to keep it and store it. So if Rhythmic experienced some outage during that time period, all of the liquidity that got it added up here during that time period would not be shown. No, because the other people on Rhythmic are seeing the same thing. So yeah.
Right. And me.
See, they just took 6 awfully fast. Come to CQG. You know, I've thought about it because I originally tried to do CQG, but then I couldn't do it through both the Ninja and Day Trader, you know? But now that the bridge is working, I could probably move over to CQG. Because I could be wrong, but my recollection is that CQG's data is a little better. That Cohen GoFundMe, I can't even. I'm telling you, I mean, the annoying thing about this sort of a thing is that really, what can we really know? As a layperson that's just watching this, you can't really know for sure anything, because at this point, Cohen is a separate actor with his own interests, and seems to me that part of those interests could cause him to lie, or at the very least exaggerate what's going on. And you have the lawyer going out today saying, oh, what Donald Trump did was definitely a lie. So it seems to me like, okay, they went into the courtroom yesterday. They said, hey, Donald Trump directed me to do it. So he didn't say the key things that I would want to hear, which was that Donald Trump directed him to do it through an LLC, and Donald Trump directed him to not report it to the SEC to, as a political contribution, right? Those are the things I would want to hear. So since he didn't say that, and people are kind of like questioning it, and now he's coming out this morning and he's making sure that everybody understands, like...
He goes on to say, if you need a good lawyer, don't hire Cohen.
Yeah, right. And now he's saying that he has evidence of Russian collusion, and he was citing the meeting in Trump Tower specifically. So when you talk about the Trump Tower meeting, well, was dirt obtained in that meeting? Because as seems pretty well established that they had a meeting and that they thought that they were going to get some dirt, and then it turned out to be nothing. That it was all just a ruse to get them to talk. So if that's what he has, that right there, in and of itself, is evidence that he's exaggerating, or not being completely truthful, and is basically trying to play the media to get as much airplay as he can. So yeah, at this point, I can't know for sure, but I don't trust a word. I think every word he says is probably a lie. Well, now the next question is, how is Donald Trump's team going to respond? And the other thing is that the thing that he said that he did that was illegal is kind of a gray area. It really is. And I think that when it's been tried in the past, it didn't work. Because didn't John Kerry try to say that, and then he still got hit with a fine or whatever. Like, that's what sunk John Kerry when he tried to hide his infidelity. Right? But it's still kind of a gray area. It's still kind of like, well, maybe if you had a better lawyer, you could make the argument and get away with it. So that alone says, okay, for Michael Cohen to flip on that particular thing says to me that Michael Cohen is basically doing everything that he can to make Donald Trump's life a living hell right now. Because at the time that the actions were performed, that was probably not what Michael Cohen told Donald Trump for lawyer advice. So now you're going to see Donald Trump's going to have to countersue him for, breaking his lawyerly duties to inform him about the law. Is it pretty crazy? And as long as these headlines are hitting the wires, people are going to buy treasuries. So I say you kind of let this go over for a day or two and short it. It's almost certain to blow through. Especially if they get a NAFTA deal on Thursday. Granted, they're making it sound like it's not a for sure thing, but man, if they got a NAFTA deal, that would really send the S&P to new highs. I mean, so we've gotten a new high, but we get this thing very often. This isn't the first time that this has happened in this bull market where we'll make a new high, but then we have a very hard time closing above that new high. But eventually it happens, so.
This next news, just to let everyone know that Continental has now ended its guidance.
We might be getting a short right here, to be honest. They had more than enough reason to go through that. I'm gonna see if they trade up into that if I see stacking there. Like if that's going over 7. I have to anticipate it, so I'm gonna put an order in there. So I'm starting to realize, although I'm still okay with where the action is, the 5-year definitely looks like it's in a range here, and that I don't want to go below 25.5. So we may have sold the bottom of a range. Even though we're still, 3 ticks away from where our risk is and all that. Well, that bid is weakening up. Could get it. There it is. Nobody going for the 20 right away. So it seems like they're a little bit reluctant to believe it. Okay, there it is. Sorry for all of my disgusting noises as I drink water and so forth here.
Fats on oil barrels a day. These 2 barrels.
So, this right here. 1, 2, 3. That looks pretty bearish to me. And now, granted, we've blown through that in the past week, haven't we? Remember, we had a big wall like that, and I was like, "Nope, I think it's gonna hold." And then they went right through it, but we're below it. This is a little bit different. I mean, things are looking good so far, but the buyers are not stepping out yet. So it's a little bit kind of in the middle equal here. Just kind of watching that 22, seeing what people at 22 do. Right now they're stacking. I'm at 21.5 pulled, which isn't good. And 21 got weaker than I would have expected. What I'm seeing right now tells me that there's maybe a little chance that I could get a better price. Oh shit. There's that spread trade. So yesterday it went towards the big bid in the 5-year. So is this gonna chase down? We need to tick down to see. Should tick down and that should move.
Journal saying that NYSE is selling stake in OC.
No clue what that is.
And just ahead of the US cash equity, our US cash review.
Not moving yet. Now on the split side, if this ticks up and that bid follows it up, I'm buying. I'm reversing. Okay. Okay, so there's a tick up, it didn't go. 21.5 ticked up a little bit too easily too, only 2,400. There was no iceberg there. And this 22 is pulling. It's really pulling. Okay, look, the bid disappeared. The offer is still there in the ZB. Now you're getting an iceberg in the 5-year. You got a real decision point here. But it looks like I was correct that I did end up buying the bottom of, or selling the bottom of the range. So next time that I realize that, I should just scratch it. See, that was too easy.
Something.
Okay, so this is a stop right here. That bid is just wants to push it.
In equity. Really?
Too easy.
And just pretty much.
Well, that action was really curious because they just bought right through that. I mean, it pulled all the way out, and then what? There was nothing there. There was nothing there. It just pulled. It pulled, and then that should have been a signal for buyers that like, this is on, and they come down 2 ticks for no reason. So sellers stepped out of the way, but I'm questioning how much power buyers actually have here. It seems a little fishy. You know, like that they pulled their orders just so that they could sell it at a higher price.
I've put that KK on the wall and all on our board. In equity, Reuters, Trevin Howard, and monetary policy hedge fund.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about that. I was just reading some Twitter here and Reddit, and somebody was quoting Alan Dershowitz. They not only squeeze people to sing, but to compose.
Moment.
those two pieces of news don't necessarily conflict with each other. They could be working on getting a handshake deal on Thursday, but still have major hurdles to overcome. They could be saying, "Hey, we'll just do what let's just do what we did with Europe," you know. Man, my stomach is just 30 minutes being late is messing my system up, I think. Okay, so they ticked up. Let's just wait here. Okay. That might have been it. Nope. Could still do it, but they would have to fight it out a little bit more. A lure, it's a trap, yeah. It sure feels like a trap to me, but I'm not seeing them, in order for me to take it, I need to see the trap sprung, And to me, the trap sprung would either be a stop run that immediately reverses, or some sort of major absorption where it doesn't make sense. Like they make it look weak, like it's going to continue through, and then all of a sudden a 10K is there and it pushes us down. Because I think this guy right here wanted to sell. I think he was putting on a flattener again. He was putting on a flattener so he could buy the E-mini, and he didn't get it. He just said, okay, go ahead, go up there.
Tariffs getting hit rather hard. Borelli hitting down in Milan, which is down cent.
The other thing is that we need to watch the 30-year over here. Because if this spreader is still in here, he's going to sell the 30. Or no, he's going to buy the 30. He's going to sell the 5. I think that's what he's doing. So he was pulling this down to help him sell it. And same here. So this was this, and then he was selling it down. Okay. So there's the odd tick in the 30-year. I should add that the 30-year did come back more than 5 ticks on that last run, and it didn't make a new high when the 10-year did. Oh man, that sounds awful, doesn't it? And I can't really trust my level 2 because the rhythmic, I know that there's more than 1,000 there. Okay. Well, that's not quite how I expected that to play out. Looks like I was duped. Well, 25 is not. When I took it, it was because that was thickening up to 4K. But then, of course, it was a lure we sold into a lure. There was 5K here. But I still see the possibility for a short here, especially since they've touched up and touched this several times, but they haven't come even close in CB. If they can just get the tick down.
NATO is approaching our board, not vice versa.
But of course, nobody wants to do anything here. Okay, that's a little more like it. How much is going to trade here to go through it? They absorbed 5 there net the first time, now it's 3. See this right here, 220. Like they should be selling that. If you're a strong seller, and if you're a strong seller, what you want to do is you want to catch a strong buyer underwater. And then you see an iceberg like that, you got to push through it. They're not doing it. That kind of destroys my thesis here, I think. They may yet do it though, so I don't want to speak too soon. Iceberg there. This one is kind of annoying to me. We get over 3,000 traded both sides. Well, I've been really focused on the 10-year, but we should note that there's an iceberg here. They've only been selling it in the 5, and the 30 is pointed up, apparently. Although I think that our size above us is unreliable again. Mm. There you go. That just seemed like a really slow one for some reason. Yeah. Well, I've done this many times in a row now, where I've tried to, because of the whole risk thing, I'm trying to fight the trend. But now that they've gotten over the overnight high, unless I see that stop run. But I mean, gosh. $121 was where that super risk area came out. Well, now they got 6 sitting on there. Your dad is Jack not even seeing the correct offers. Yeah. Well, the thing that confuses me about my level 2 here. Okay. That 6 just pulled away. Is that I thought that as we moved up that maybe they would get corrected, but they're not. So you can see now that the E-mini is opening, the E-mini is opening up. And I think that they could try and push at least to 28.65. Yeah. No. When I came in, let me rephrase that because I think you missed the start. When we started, and we were down at 19.5, and the high was 22.5, I think. It was like everything from here up had less offers. And I thought, okay, well, their level 2 is screwed up, Rhythmix is. And I thought, well, maybe when we tick up, what we see at 27.5 and 28 will be more accurate. And it wasn't. Does that make more sense? So it's like Rhythmic missed a part of the overnight action where the offers got put on here. And I guess it just goes up much higher than we realize. Than I thought, rather. This is doing very much what it did last time, where we're getting a good move down and its offers are stacking up behind it, and you might even see this 23.5 get really strong, but then when they actually push through it not be anything there. Oh, he's tweeting, huh? I gotta see this. I feel very bad for Paul Manafort and his wonderful family. Justice took a 12-year-old tax case, among other things, applied tremendous pressure on him. Unlike Michael Cohen, he refused to make up stories in order to get a deal. Respect for such a brave man. Aha! So he's now saying that Michael Cohen is making shit up. Well, this is curious because it should not be able to go through 220 like that. Like I saw the risk there at 23, but I didn't see something that looked like a signal to me. That looks like a signal to me.
From Guajardo saying we met last night with Treasury Lightizer. Good represent. Sorry, Lightizer.
Oh, I missed where I tweeted, if anyone is looking for a good lawyer, I would strongly recommend that you don't retain the services of Michael Cohen. I missed that one. Oh, man. I mean, if you're Donald Trump and you're guilty, then obviously you have to be saying to yourself, well, I should have known that this was going to happen and it's all my fault. You probably wouldn't actually do that, but like at some point you have no other choice but to say, well, I did bad things and people knew, and it was only a matter of time before they got one of them to break, right? But if you're Donald Trump and you're innocent, you've got to be thinking like, man, everybody betrayed me. Because if you're innocent, then this Michael Cohen guy is just making shit up to be as damaging to you as possible. So it's not just like he was disloyal. It's like he was disloyal and he's coming back for vengeance, you know? Which if you're Donald Trump, that would really hurt. I mean, if people did that to me, I would be really, really hurt about it. Wow, 11,000 now at 22.5. $13. I got through it. Yeah, well, I can see what's at 23.5. But yeah, it's you know, that's interesting that there's 78 at 25. Wow. I mean, that's too much. I don't know. I'll tell you what, 13K at 22 halves is too much. Yay! I don't know, man. Somebody's knocking at my door. Well, it ticked down. That's good. You know what? I can just leave this and let this go, so I'm going to go check who it is.
Next can trade negotiation. I think we could finish in the
Well, I'm liking what I'm seeing there. It needs to go a little bit further. I'm just checking now. Do I have my profit right? And I do. 20 half. So, I don't know. The pivot is 20.
Some of the comments from that Mexican trade negotiation seed sort of amateur.
The pivot was at 20, but we have the view up at 22. So there is a pretty good chance that we get down here. That we might trade all through here. And there's maybe even a chance that we go all the way down to 18. But I think that it's better for me to just take the before the pivot. Not push my luck unless it just looks really strong as it comes, or if this spread guy shows back up, then maybe I'll pull it. Yeah, that was my. So my mom lives down the street, grandma lives down the street, and we were over at her house yesterday, and they're like, "Oh, you need this mosquito spray because they're gonna get bitten on the way to school for their first day of school." And we forgot it, and she woke up early and brought it down. That's what that was.
Block cell.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm really tempted because of the block sell and that it ticked back to take it off like it's making me nervous. That I got a winner and it's going to come back on me. But the delta says to me that I have to hold it. That there's a lot more people that have to be washed out for it to stop going down. So if it comes back and it hits my stop, then it comes back and it hits my stop. I'm not taking less than the 20 half though. Not to mention how many times have we seen it where it got stuck in this 2 or 3 tick range. And I was like, this is where I better take a profit, only to see it go down like twice as much, so. Okay, well, that at 21 is not what we want to see. Okay. Well, they tick down. It's not holding.
Talking on his president, I'm saying it was positive.
So now buyers are trying to put a line in the sand at 20 half.
Advisor present. I think enough negotiation.
I don't know. It's hard. This spot. Today, I continue to see things happen at places that I think are unusual. Like, if I'm a buyer and I want to draw a line in the sand, why would I draw a line in the sand right there at 21? Why not wait for the VWAP and use the VWAP as your support for a VWAP bounce to go up and get a new high? You know? Like, that's a much better place to try and get people on your side. If you do it at 21, there's a good chance that you just get some more people stopping out and burying you. That's my thought. Of course, I'm probably completely wrong, but that's just how I would be looking at it if I was him. Well, they have tried many, many times and it's held, so. The sellers aren't even actually offering all that much.
contacting the local fire service. Fire SRs. Down the
This is feeling intense here. Hmm. 30 years down a tick. Actually traded 16 at one point in the 30-year. So I think that we should...
10 minutes now. For July, as expected, a 5.4 or 5 point range of 5.25 to 5.51 million. The month-to-month change expected at 0.6%. 5 to otherwise.
Okay, the 5-year tick down. The 30-year tick down. I might tick back up. Are we gonna get another huge 10K iceberg here at 21? Okay, that pulled it a little bit. This ticked back up. This ticked back up. E-mini is looking a little weak at the moment. Oh shit. I think that last trade, I felt like I just kind of FOMO'd into it. I want to take a profit here and just take a step back a little bit because they're fighting like way too much, you know? So I'm sitting here sweating it out to get 3 ticks. Buyer doesn't seem to be giving up even though he's underwater. Okay. So let's relax for a second and get a little bit of water and
Time 9. US existing supply again expected at 5.4 change.
okay. So we ticked it back down at 21.5. Didn't do anything here. We're gonna have news. So I think it's good to have been out here at news. You could buy it at 21. Buy it at 21 and sell it at, around 23.
10 seconds.
Thank you to Democrat Adob Highkind for your gracious remarks on Fox and Friends.
For home sales month to month, 10%. 5.34 million. Low expected 5.4 million. Existing home sales at minus 0.7% month. Expected
5.34 versus 5.4 estimated. Well, of course, it moves us up.
price for 9,000. 5%. We're distressed versus 6% in June at well 5% in July.
Oh, I get what Jack is saying now. The reason they're putting it there is that 21 was the open. My chart actually shows that 21.5 was the open, but the same difference. The bottom of the opening range, though, is 19.5. So it's kind of like, in order for them to this to turn into like a reversal sell sort of a thing, I think they'd have to get past 19.5. And here around the 22F, 23 area, you're going to start to encounter resistance. So if they can move up here, and keep buy it here. Keep buy it here, take 23. Okay. The 21's looking weak.
large call.
This is turning into what's the E-mini gonna do? Sure feels like it at the moment. By the way, I don't have my delta up, that would help. Okay. Oh, they're selling it. I came back up on light volume.
You're worth it. Apartment sync. Estimate vision level of 540,000.
43,000 is a lot. Feels awfully tense today. This has gone back and forth many times now. This is not flipping. Okay. And I'll take it down. Not much offered. There's a lot of size there at 22 now. Another step down for the 5-year. Yep. Sad face. Should have kept my first one. Okay. Hmm. Well, that's a pretty strong offer at 20.5. Hmm. So you still kind of get this thing where the E-mini is moving up a little bit, but on very light volume. Seems to be the dominant influence right now. I'm a little concerned because the spots that I've been looking for don't seem to be holding. Well, there's a little bit of a flip. Bigger flip that time. Flipped in the 5-year. Hasn't flipped in the 30. E-mini kind of stuck in a very tight range here. Now flip again, flip again. Nope. Okay, a more significant flip and tick down. An iceberg at 20, but they pushed through it very quickly. They're not pulling in 19.5. But I think I'm gonna get stopped out again. Okay, and that time the bid comes back, it's stronger. Stronger than the offer was. They didn't hit it, but see that bid at 19.5.
10 minutes time now, expecting weekly TO figures. That's looking through the expectations there. Crude expected to be a draw of 7 million, by a build of 6.85 million, range of a draw of 7.7 million, build of 9 million. This is expected to be a build of 1.463, by a build of 3.566 million, the range of a draw of 1.9 million. Pushing no now and no expectations for a prior build of 1.643 million. Finally, gasoline that's expected to be a draw of 0.4, prior draw of 0.74, draw of 2, build of, and refining utilization expected to 10%. I was looking at the quick API numbers last night. This crude come in at a draw of 5.17 million. This at a build of 1.8 million, Cushing 5 million, gasoline. Just getting comments now from US spokespersons. Talks outstanding. Seems to be a repeat of it's open.
I guess they're just making sure everybody heard them.
Drop. To spokesperson standing.
So I kind of see that for a while the buy was working out, and now it looks really bad again. I think that my trades have just been too much against momentum, you know? So they're trading into it, and now it's stacking up to 7. So I mean, this is the signal that kind of started this whole attempting things here. You should be buying 20 here. I just don't. I feel like I'm generally taking the right spots. I still make mistakes, for sure. I think that earlier I made a mistake. I do think I am picking the right spots. Sometimes I'm a tick off. Wow, 8 now. The problem seems to be in how I manage the trade. It's like some of the winners I get out too early, and I don't know. You have to work on this a lot more, and we gotta really get to figure out how to not be taking it against the trend. Like, it's much better. Would have been much better to have bought this, for instance, at 20. That was an edge that we might have been able to have seen. Seems like it's holding. It's now almost 8,000. Why aren't they trading up through 20.5 yet? Well, it's getting a lot weaker than it was before. Okay. Tick up. They fought it, but will it hold? I mean, this is the appropriate spot for it too, because not only did it tick 19.5 as a pivot earlier, but like it's right about around the VWAP, so it's showing that there's not any appetite to initiate below the VWAP. I think we should trade back up. I felt like when we were back up at 21.5 that we should trade back up to where did I want? Wanted 23, I think, is what I wanted. You see, it's just not. It's like it's there, but then it never goes. See, holding but not immediately attacking the 21. It's just slow going. Well, there was a little bit of a change. And tick down.
3 minutes 9 until we get. Here's again a quick run through the conditions. Expected to be a draw. This is expected to be a build of 1.463 million. Cushing no conditions there. Our build of 6.4. Draw of point. Again, the APIs last night showed a drop of 7 million. It's a build of 1.5 million. That's same came in 0.93.
Interesting. So Keith is saying that even though there's a 78 down there on his DOM, he sees like 7 all the way up at 25 even instead of a 4. I don't know.
One minute to go. Finding up. Ten seconds to go now. Draw of 5.836 million. Distillate coming in a build of 1.849 million, with Cushing a build of 0.772 million. Gasoline a build of 1.2 million. Again, that's crude coming in a draw of 5.836 million, with distillate a build of 1.849 million. Cushing coming in at a build of 0.772 million, with gasoline as well a build at 1.2 million. Refined utilization coming in flat, and is expected minus 0.5%.
It's just not doing it.
For the data there,
Man.
got a City YouGov poll that UK year ahead public inflation expectations rising to 2.7% in August from prior of 2.5%, with the long public inflation expectations unchanged at 3.3%. Up a point.
The only thing is that I should have taken it at 20, not 20.5. Maybe he goes through it. Maybe we say this just didn't work out that time, but I sure don't feel good. That's it. I don't know. So, is the data screwed up to 24? I mean, I don't know. And where's that screenshot again of his? So he has C6 at 21.5. Well, it did hold. Still. Yeah, they're giving up now. Really. Yep. So then what's going on at Rhythmic, huh?
American now U.S. effective federal funds rate appetite rate rise of the Fed policy cuts in reserves yet required in December. Latest the Fed funds rate increase pressuring Fed off R as policy target.
Well, I kind of think what Keith is trying to say though is that when I got out at like 22, when there was like the ginormous icebergs there, that the offers were a lot stronger than what they looked like on my DOM. Is that correct, Keith? And ergo, now that it's come down to the 19.5, that the 19.5 is not nearly as menacing within that context as it seemed when it was at like 8K.
Ones from Ray Chrysler saying tending vector KKR. Getting other reports now that KKR.
So the one thing, I mean, today is a loss anyways, so we're just gonna do this, okay? So we're gonna say the correct place to have taken it was 20. So for the purposes of entertainment, they're gonna blow right through it. You know, I think they should. I did trade 6,000 at 19.5.
And outline. As Germany to boost bond bill sales. Planning to.
So like something I'm noticing just today at least is that so like if I come here 21, okay, so on this one, and where's it at? 651. Okay, so here on this one, I thought that it had pivoted and I was trading it down, and then that one turned around. So that one I'm gonna say it just I had it right. Okay, so it went down, and it just didn't go right. So then it came up and I still wanted to short it for who knows what reason, and I did it right there, which it is one tick with the thing, but it's like I'm seeing a line that's not really there for some reason because it just went right through it. Then I sold it at 22.5, so here was a little bit late because I wanted 23. So it's like there was a short in there, but I was like way early twice, essentially, right? And then when I do get it correct, it's good for like 2 ticks and I get out of it. And then that one, the one where I got out of it, it went through. So now I'm trying to buy it, right? And it's like, again, I'm seeing a line that's not there because it goes through it. So we could say that it's data, but I'm thinking that there's still something about the approach here that's wrong. And another issue, I think, is that, so I think I really I want to catch more like the failures. Like here, this one came down and it failed to touch the low here. And then I could take 21 long. Okay. There's 2, 4 filled. Okay. At least 3 would be close. And this one, maybe you don't do anything. So now this one right here, though, because it's kind of where I was going with this one. This is the one where I really think I wanted to take. And, but it wasn't like really a failure, was it? It was like, I just, I saw that one. I mean, I saw the signal and I saw the iceberg and everything. But it just, it didn't quite fit in with where I've been looking. So I think that I'm running into a bit of, bye-bye. There's some randomness here to where I'm picking, which says that the spots I'm picking just is not the right spots. Not in this action, at least. Like I did better waiting for the strong ticks and trying to go along with the strong ticks. Well, I don't really feel like I have that many. When you look at this chart right here, and I have these 3, these really are all the same thing. And I'm only have those on there to see, as a longer term study, to see what the differences between them are. I know a lot of people have really found this delta uptick, downtick really useful, but I personally have not. Like the only really, here was a good one. Did give you a good one right there. Here, though, is kind of like, okay, there's a strong buy, but it didn't do anything. And this blue stuff is just to help me keep track of the opening range and stuff, so there's a lot of stuff in there that people are tracking in their heads, and I just have a hard time. See, there's the 18. Okay. He's still not saying the critical thing. Of course Donald Trump told him to make the payments. Like, no fucking duh, guys. Anybody that's been paying attention to this story knows that Donald Trump told him to make a payment. And when we knew pretty much from the very beginning, even though they denied it, everybody, you had to have known that the Trump campaign was lying about it. Question is the manner in which the payment was made. Did Donald Trump dictate the way in which it was done? Oh, E-mini's like moving up. Well, when did I make this change? Because I want to say that we need to go back and change some stuff here. I'm gonna type this, okay?
Economy minister slightly stronger than 12 months due to US sanctions. Markets probably lower than 2018, forecast to 1.8% from prior 1.
See, what I used to do. How to explain this? What I used to do is I would see it come down to like here. Like, let's say that I saw this, and I would end up buying 21.5 and holding it, and then maybe getting 23 or something like that. So that's 3 ticks. But the thing was, is I was always kind of looking for a place where they really took a strong tick, like they ticked up and the bid is really pushing it and trying to push it further. Those were the ones that I was kind of taking. And what ended up happening when I was doing that is I would always end up with poor risk. You know, would always end up like, I would buy it and I would end up buying 23. And so now my risk has to be like 20 or 21, actually. And then, it would come down and it would hit 21. And when the losses hit, they were too much, even though, I got it like 50% of the time. But when I did get a run of losses, it was really bad and I'd get really bad string, right? So now I changed it up to try and minimize my risk, right? Well, that doesn't work for me, at least, because I always end up trading against the trend. And so the probability is just horrendous. I mean, it's just not looking good right now. The other thing that I was doing is I was only buying above the VWAP and only selling below the VWAP. And the problem with that, and today would have been a good example, is yes, if you bought right here off of a VWAP bounce, you would have caught that, but then it wouldn't go and you would miss all of that. And then maybe you take this, but again, on a range bound day, and so far today we've been in a range. I mean, come on, look, we've pivoted here multiple times now. So that one doesn't really work either. And these range days happen more often than the trendy days, even though there is a little bit of a trend in every day. Now, I still think that some of my overall reads are right. Like, for instance, I said, hey, I think you fade this. I think that this is going up too much and I think I want to sell it. I mean, that's why I sold it 3 times in the beginning. But then once I got a little bit out of it, and then I gave up on that. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't seem to have the patience to try and trade it like a swing like that. Nor can I take the risk, because it's very often that I'll pick a spot and I'm right, but I'm 8 ticks off. So I'm not quite sure. I feel really directionless now after all this. I mean, granted, there was a lot of other things wrong. Like the data was wrong, and it's just kind of a weird day, but even though I've been getting better at getting the spot, the improvement in the actual performance of the strategy is not getting better. That's what makes me think that like this is not working. And I'm kind of even starting to feel like that you really just can't trust any of the stuff that you see in here. Because you see 6K and then it disappears. They did trade 6K at 19.5, but they're 4 ticks lower now. You're looking at something that is so short term that any one guy can just come in and plow right over it. Yeah, I do gotta get going, but
Currently discussing the pipeline.
yeah, I think part of my problem is that my plan is just not quite well defined enough. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I have to sit down and write down the scenarios, like, because I know the places where we want to make a trade. Kind of like these key decision points. It feels like far too often I end up not taking a trade at a decision point, or I see a decision point that's not there. Anyways, I don't know. I need to take a look back and try a couple of different things, because I just don't think that this is providing edge for me. But I've sat and mulled over it too long now. So I will see you guys later.